It's it's hard to believe, but we're in this 7-7 thing right now. So James said he was going to get something to drink, so I just wanted to start on time. And I know MJ was talking a lot about astrology. And I know there's a whole bunch of stuff. It's not really my thing. The astrology is not totally my thing. I'm kind of like, I think I am all the planets and the moon and everything. So I try not to look outside of myself for the orientation. So I'm kind of feeling into this 7-7 time and say, hey, James, I was going to talk until a hand went up or you want to talk. So um, I have some
Listen to you
ideas.
right now. Yeah, I got
Good.
something, but go ahead.
Well, I got something too. I got something. I was kind of feeling into the fieldings of this experience of this 7-7. And we're almost in a full moon. That's going to be on the 10th. And it's in Cancer. It's a very feminine sign. So pearls and pearl powder and all kinds of good stuff that would support the little mini oceans inside of ourselves. I really feel like feeling into that. It's super hot here, and yet we're getting a lot of like super awesome, drenching thunderstorms. So we just had one earlier, which makes it like super cool and then super steam room like. So I had this kind of like thought about where I am right now as far as curating my experiences, like the galaxy within me. So wherever I go, I get a reflection of me. So whether I'm using AI as a reflection or I'm using all the people around me, and there's a lot of chaos going on from what people are reflecting. So I'm kind of reflecting on I don't have a lot of chaos, and I'm really grateful for that. Um, and so then I got this little thing that came into my purview. One was our plasma in our veins made of H3O. So three hydrogen and one oxygen to make a plasma of the interstitial fluids, et cetera, et cetera. So it's kind of sitting in that. And then I was kind of like sitting into is the internet dead? It's like we're at this place right now where you go out and search for something and everything is curated for you. Your whole life is curated for you. You go out into the world and everything is kind of a reflection. So that's kind of what I'm sitting with right now. It's kind of like I've created this reality and it's a pretty damn good reality. I'm like I spend most of the time doing what I want to do and how I want to do what I'm doing. So it's kind of curated in a magical way. I'm not a victim in this experience and I'm having this most amazing experience. I'm like, no matter where I am. I remember when I was driving across the country and I was looking at I took a 2-lane road all the way up through Tennessee, up to North Carolina. And I was looking at everyone's house and going, well, I could live there, but there I'd be. I could live here and there I'd be. I mean, it doesn't really matter where you are. It's just where are you? So that's kind of my out. Go ahead, James, your hands up. Yay.
Hello, everyone. I enjoy that, Lori. I was more putting myself in the queue because I did want to discuss some things today. One of which is I didn't realize it was the Lionsgate until you said that. That's always a an interesting day. In fact, interesting things have happened in the past, and here we are, still moving about. I wanted to do a show on Friday, but I was working on some puppetry stuff, digital puppetry stuff, and I didn't get done in time. And then I thought for sure I would have I would have everything done by Monday, but the learning curve is just colossal. And the entire time it's Independence Day, and I wanted to do a show today and at least mention the Battle of the Kegs. And you guys may be interested in what that. Hey, I like your shirt, Mary John. I'm liking this shirt there. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Cool threads. I just got mine. I was really stoked about how well it looks on.
You both have it on. That looks
Yeah,
awesome.
that's right. We're
Yeah.
we're in the same squad, but The Battle of the Kegs, during the winter of 1777 through 78, the British occupied Philadelphia. American forces were looking for creative ways to harass them. This is the story you're told. The Americans devised a clever naval mine, essentially a keg stuffed with gunpowder, fitted with fuses and triggers to explode on contact. These kegs were floated down the Delaware River towards British ships. Some exploded prematurely or hit unintended targets. One killed several people. The British forces, startled and unsure of the scale of the threat, opened heavy fire on the river, wildly shooting at floating debris at what became a comical overreaction. The Americans turned the event into a morale boosting piece of satire. Francis Hopkinson, a singer of the Declaration of Independence, wrote a humorous ballad titled The Battle of the Kegs. This was January 6, 1778. And I in my mind, this is the hermetic ladder. We've discussed this a lot into the truth of what is actually happening versus what people are telling each other is happening. I cannot think of a more obvious story in my mind than this, especially with it being Independence Day. Because first of all, if I wanted to be rabble rousy, if I wanted to have my rabble puppet and be like, "Ah, Independence Day, fuck you guys, I love dogs. You guys suck, man. You fucking torture my dog." I mean, I'm all those things. I've been those things for years, but I'm on a different leaf now, and I'm more just marveling at how perfect everything is. This is something that I struggle with all the time, and Independence Day is what a great opportunity to struggle with this. And it freaking hit me kind of like a V8. It's more like a V7. It wasn't like total V8, but it was really close. And it came to this idea of people are shooting gunpowder for zero reason other than the fact that it makes people get excited, it makes dogs bark, it makes people freak out, and it puts people on edge, and it brings people outside. And that this is what started and founded a country. The entire country is founded on this principle of fireworks. It really is. You could argue that your NASA program, every Saturn rocket program that you've had, is basically just a giant bottle rocket, and that people would gather around the bottle. There's nothing wrong with this, by the way. This just brings people together. Gunpowder is a very, very magical substance. Am I right? I mean, damn, that stuff has continued to wow us to this day. So when I think about Independence Day, it seems even more obvious. The truth is even more there that it's false flag excitement over gunpowder. Now, I just told you the story of American rebels. Keep in mind, these people had no money, they had no resources, they had no budget. And that you've been told, we've been told, that because they had no money, no resources, and no budget, that they took all the gunpowder that they could find and shoved it into a barrel and put it in the water, something that's really not good for gunpowder, by the way, and sent that barrel down the river for the sole purpose of just kind of fucking with the British. And that this is every single, the most valuable, more valuable than gold, I would argue at the time in colonial America, more valuable than silver, definitely. Although silver is probably worth more back then, believe it or not, which sounds weird, I know, but it's true. That this idea of the rebel rousers collecting all of the precious gunpowder they have or that they can find and just filling it full of barrels and putting it in the water and running it down the river. This is the hermetic ladder. In my mind, I look at this and I go, that doesn't sound right. That would be like the movie Wolverines, where the first scene, all the teenagers gather the guns, and you're like, yeah, they're okay. We're going to gather the guns, and then they throw the guns at the enemy, right? And just say, no, and this is the story, and this doesn't make sense to me. What does make sense is this Yankee Doodle Dandy song, the same tune played on both sides, is sort of a clue that gets you here because the Battle of the Kegs itself, I've told you this before, forgive me, is an incitement to violence. It is a hey, we want to. First of all, there's a country here. It's called Turtle Island. It's we don't even talk. We don't even speak the name of what it's called. I see Amu Rock. I don't even know. They're not going to tell you. And to be fair, the Sioux are walking around literally calling themselves we are snakes in grass. So it's like we are really screwed up on the trauma here. Like we don't even call our own tribes by their original name. The Sioux is literally calling themselves by, yeah, that's what those guys who thought we were assholes called us. And so we're the assholes now. Like that's literally a racist people that's been formed that's just calling themselves we're the assholes or we're the sneaky snakes or we're the bad guys. Like those names are what we're calling all of the tribal history that's here. So as I've said before, Columbus erased America. He didn't discover it. And what he was doing was removing the idea that there's a country here. This is unwrapping the true history of of the American Revolution because in my mind I'm seeing, wait, this is making sense now. You've got a Turtle Island conglomerate of rebels trying to steer this Wetiko that's coming in, but I don't think they're going to dump all their gunpowder in the water for it. I think this is probably a psyop by the side. I'm just going to take a wild guess here that has a shitload of gunpowder. I'm just, if you were to guess who was going to put more gunpowder in the river, it probably be the British. Probably do that. Not only would they probably be the ones that did that, but they'd probably do that in order to incite to bring forth a war that people were not participating in. 85% of the guns, something like that. It's like really high. Found at Gettysburg are still loaded. We're told that we have a violent past, but really we have a gullible past. We have a gullible past that gets really, really excited when gunpowder goes off. So even today, when you're looking at what's happening, when I'm watching July 4th, when we're looking at what's happening in our government, where there's a guy on TV saying, if they pass this bill, people will die. And then there's another guy saying, if they pass this bill, if they don't pass this bill, people will die. And so we've built this system of just gunpowder, of just fireworks, of firecracker kind of stuff. And the whole time I know I'm not alone here, but I'm like, why don't we like completely reject the government that requires that people die if a bill is either passed or not? Why don't we just like step away from that? Because that's never really been really built into what government's supposed to do. Originally, government really is we kind of need a village bully. We need a village guy. If you want to really learn how government forms, just think about Africa. Just start compassionating, like read about Africa, read about when you're driving a motorcycle through Africa and there's like all these random roadblocks, just like in the middle of the road, just two guys, Reggie and Doug, are like, hey, what are you doing today? We're gonna go fucking block the road. We're just gonna drag a giant tree in front of the road. People are gonna have to stop. We're gonna sit there in a lawn chair with guns. That's what we're gonna do today. This is what we're doing as a living. Now you start to understand what a government is. Like truly a government is we need a bigger Reggie and Doug. We need a Reggie and Doug who would go up to this Reggie and Doug and be like, I'm going to kick the shit out of you. So we've never really had this idea that government's supposed to be here to protect us or to kill us or not to kill us. It's really supposed to be more of like a regulated bully. A regulated militia kind of has a deeper meaning than you think about here. The regulated bully is sort of a better way of looking at that. And then now look at where we are now. Largest employer is the military. We're literally invading every single country we can find. We're laughing about it. We think it's funny. And it's perfect. It's so weird. It's perfect because you're watching the predator and it's you. It's us. Like it's everything that we're doing, all the things that is happening around us, the society that we have. Is that predator. I can't think of a better way where we would want to exist, honestly. What back are you going to live on? On back of the hyena or this eagle warrior that's demented and kind of has violent tendencies? It's successful. It seems to be the most popular animal in the jungle. I don't think that we're invincible. I'm sure this country will fall, but it's not going to fall. The stories you're hearing now, where the banks are going to, guys, the banks have never been legit. That's not going to happen, right? You really are looking at a technology of belief And that belief really comes down to gunpowder, but more importantly, I think it comes down to what limbically makes you excited about stuff. And ultimately, Yankee Doodle Dandy with bright colors and new guns, and every 10th person wins a horse is going to be the most exciting thing that wins the race in America and kind of puts us here now. Forgive me for giving a sermon here. Like I said, I wanted to do this in a show. I've got this video, a music video. The Battle of the Kegs is a really interesting lyric that I think tells the story more than anything else does because it actually describes the sort of the lightheadedness of of how this thing took place. Battle of the Kegs lyrics. Um, Gallants attend and hear a friend trill forth harmonious ditty. Strange things I tell which late befell in Philadelphia city. 'Twas early day, as poets say, just when the sun was rising. The soldier stood on a log of wood and saw a thing surprising. As in a maze he stood to gaze, the truth can't be denied, sir. He spied a score of kegs or more come floating down the tide, sir. The sailor, too, in jerkin blue, this strange appearance viewing, first aimed his eyes in great surprise, then said, some mischief's brewing. These kegs, I'm told, the rebels hold, packed up like pickled herring, and there come down to attack the town in this new way of ferrying. The soldier flew, and sailor too, and scared almost to death, sir, wore out their shoes to spread the news, and ran till out of breath, sir. They're being terrorized by these floating uh, keg mines. It's telling everyone that this is the news. The British are coming. It's telling everyone this is what we're doing. We are, imagine the playground called nature. And imagine that with gunpowder, you can make everyone play the same game. And once you get the game going, it's actually pretty easy to predict where everyone goes. The fog of war is a feature. I've said this before. And it's only when you are not implementing the fog of war do you become lost in it. When you're the one implementing the fog of war, it becomes a very, very precise instrument. This instrument would be as easy as, hey guys, I want you to take 60 pounds of uh, of gunpowder and put them in this barrel and do that 20 times. And the largest navy in the world ever is like, okay, we can do that, no problem. This is no skin off our back at all. This would be one of the simplest things that you could do to invoke and start and create a different game. Because think about it as the imagination, a different game for all the natives on Turtle Island to play. This would be the perfect way to finish off the erasure of what was here because you're presenting a false threat, a threat where the country's always been belonging to this colonial crown colony. Instead of the truth of this is Turtle Island, there's already government here. What are you guys even doing? Why are you forming a militia in New York? And then 7 years later, this happens. This wasn't a surprise. If you and I were there in that time, it would be the same thing that we see now. We'd be going, why are they putting those kegs off the, oh, I don't know. I'm sure there's beer. It's like, no, no, no. It's all, you and I would be talking about it. We would be conspiracy theorists for it. And more importantly, when you look at the lyrics of the song, you'd see that people just bought it. I could show you a graph right now that shows you how many flu cases were in 2019. You've seen it, right? It's like the miracle, right? There was like no flu that winter, the entire winter. There's not one case of flu, not a single case of flu. It's written right there. It's this is not a the graph of the Sacred Mushroom Institute. This is like the CDC. So it's the game that nature plays. And when I see the game now, I'm not even invested. I almost think it's cute. I almost think it's fun watching the gunpowder now, and it's a much different experience because I'm not so invested in it, you know? It's very much like Eckhart Tolle teaching you to sort of step back from your pain body. The America is the pain body, and you can simply just see that pain body simply by stepping back from it and just watching the folly. Because ultimately, the answer to everyone, if someone tells you if they pass this bill, people are going to die, the answer is to say, why are you supporting a government that literally has to pass bills so people will die or not die? Like either way. Like, there's really no good side for you to be on here. You're simply telling me that if I don't go in and give more attention and put information inside a suggestion box, that people will die. How is this voluntarism? How is this the unanimous government that we already have? How is this? We have a bicameral house right here. Look, those are the elders. Those are the shamash. Those are literally the elder council in the middle. You've got your younglings, your House of Representative. You've got your Senate on the other side. We meet under a big tree. We have all these chiefs called Big Chief White Tree. Why are we calling all of these guys white? Why were there so many white chiefs? It's probably because of this, guys. It's probably because there was a bunch of people hanging around going, "Hey, this place is fucking great. Look at that Turtle Island. I love it. Hey, they got 13 months. Look at this. Here's a calendar. It's a turtle shell calendar. Look at how cute this is. I'm coming back here next year. It's a whole giant thriving culture. The Fountain of Youth, the entire Crystal Springs was a mythology long before we even had this land here. How's that even possible, right? Like how it's so much richer this history is when you look at it this way. I wish I could I wish this video was done. I've been practicing with lip syncing through Unreal Engine. It's very complicated. Once you know it, it's super easy, but it's just very complicated. AI has helped me a lot because since I don't do 3D production all the time, I can't memorize where these buttons are and what just moved, and it takes like 4 days to remember where something is now. AI is definitely making that easier because I can say, how do you turn the light on or how do you flip the switch? So I've haven't been even though I haven't been producing anything, that's all I've been doing nonstop is working on this Battle of the Kegs video, believe it or not. It's a rap where the lyrics I just read you are given in sort of an Eminem way, and there's like this colonial dancers. I don't even know if it's even worth showing because honestly, I'm trying to just build up the momentum to where we can produce things that are a little bit more. Honestly, the Gregorian chant video, I really want to redo the video on that. I really want to have the visuals where you can like actually mount the words and stuff. So, uh, th- and I'm not done. That's why you don't see some today. I don't even know if you'll see it because now it's after July 4th. I kind of blew it. I wasn't able to get it finished, but I'll probably put it out anyway just because I want to see what all this technology can do. There's so many different that I'm not talking about, but there's so many. So we got some hands up. I'll see what everyone else got to say. But it's great to see everybody. Happy Independence Day.
Thanks, James. I lived in a town called Exeter, New Hampshire. They celebrate the 4th of July a week late because it took a week for the news to get there. So, Paul Revere, just take your time. It will get there. Hey, MC, go ahead. MJ, go ahead.
Hello. First, I love my t-shirt. Thank you. And you're talking about rivers, and you probably already put this together, but I don't know if you've ever thought, like river is virus.
Cool.
You know, if it's if the rivers are symbolic of a blood system, then sending powder kegs down the river could be like a virus or something. I don't know. Just a thought.
Cool. Okay, Annie, your hands up. Go ahead.
And yes, the river, I live in the middle of the desert and there's a river running through it. It's a feature that without it, I don't think there would be commerce and gambling and boats and chicks in bikinis and the whole thing. And this weekend, I have a tendency to listen. I listen to the police scanner a lot. It's police and fire in this whole area, just the whole kind of, not the sheriff necessarily, but just local police and what's happening. And also when there's injuries and things like that. But it's just, I just listen to it because it's kind of an ebb and flow of things, of things that are happening in the area. Anyway, on July 4th, the river took somebody and it took a soul, and the person was, I guess, acting inebriated, just a Hispanic male. No, I don't have no idea. I don't follow any new like Facebook scanner groups or anything, but I know there's stuff there. I just don't look at it. But I was listening, and my friend told me, well, he didn't say anything. I just heard it on the scanner and then I looked on where you can see the aircraft in the area, and it's sort of like a radar that shows if there's a helicopter, and you could see him tracing the river over and over, searching for hours. They had people searching, they had dive teams searching. And I just started thinking that the river just claimed somebody, and it just, I was just praying and just thinking how that's not, wow. And that was what was coming through for me. And then you guys just start talking about the river, and it's just, and it kind of makes sense. I mean, there's some dark stuff. There's some supposed drug commerce that comes up and down, and maybe by aircraft dropping, because I don't see any people on the ground where I live. I see a lot of aircraft, and I follow the aircraft, and I see what's happening up there a lot. And anyway, also not unrelated, but somewhat unrelated, is another thing that basically the shortest way to say it is, I put a symbol in my yard to be seen from space, from Google Earth. And the new satellite footage came out, and my symbol is now on there as plain as can be and very visible from the air. And it's not a finger going like this, or it's not high or a smiley face, but it's supposed to be an air symbol and an earth symbol, depending on which way you're looking at it. But the person that inspired me to do it, I should have consulted them beforehand, and it turns out that my symbol is off. And in order to be what it should be, it's not something you can go and search on an image search on DuckDuckGo or anything like that. But I take her as to be a symbol expert and a sigil expert and magic expert and alchemist, full on, you name it. And I was going by what she was saying, but I should have asked first. But anyway, she helped me to figure out how to correct the symbol so that I'm not attracting lightning. And well, actually my house was already hit by lightning, but that was before the symbol. So maybe I was putting the symbol there because but she was saying a meteor might come because it's a combination of fire and air or something. I don't know. In any case, I dismantled it as soon as, because now that it's on the record in Google Earth, now I can tear it down and put a new symbol. And over the years I had a maze on there for a while, like a labyrinth in my yard, but I just didn't use it to its full potential. I tore it down and put new symbol, I put new things and shapes that can be seen from above, whether it's an airplane or satellite. But anyway, the river and the symbol and everything, and just, I don't know, I've got a lot to think about here. So thank you.
Thanks, Annie. On July 4th, this strange storm came into the hill country of Texas, and the Guadalupe River rose 34 feet. And it took, 13 girls at a mystic camp. So I was thinking about, like the Guadalupe, that's like the mother. And we have this river, and now we're deciphering what river virus and the awakening of like July 4th in this water. 34 feet, and like it started raining at 4 in the morning, and then it was like, I don't know, how did 34 feet? Hill country, like what happened to James? I'm like, whoa. So there's something different happening for sure. So thanks, Andy, for sharing. That was an amazing sigil story, and it would be interesting if we all put things in our yards.
Can I show
Symbol.
something really quick on
Yeah.
that? Because it's just related to what where is this thing? Hang on a second. Um this is, I don't know why this isn't bigger deal. Hang on a second. I have to hit share again. Hang on. Close share. I think if I do, yeah. I don't know why this isn't a bigger deal. In 2013, Annie, the Kastana, which Astana, sorry, in Kazakhstan, uh, built this Phoenix pond. And in 2013, it wasn't filled with water yet. They were building it. And they built a serpent inside of it. Do you see that?
Yeah.
It's a serpent inside of the Phoenix. And then when they finished it, they filled it with water in 2018. And these are both satellite images that I snapped. I mean, these are definitely legit. In fact, if you look at 2018, you can actually see the snake is still under the water there. It's actually still underneath there. And I think there's something very, very powerful about it. Google is the only one, you pretty much, that gets to just show us what our maps are. The Queen of England used to be able to do that, believe it or not. She used to be able to say, here's all the maps. You guys may not believe it, but that's true. There's a long time there where there really was no other sources for such things on purpose. And you start to think about what the Library of Alexandria is. And, the innocent thing is everyone wants to save books. It's like, or everyone wants to curve knowledge. Both sort of have the same goal, if you think about it. Hellenism, although a beautiful idea, let's modernize Greece, it also was like, you got to throw that shit away. It's a lot of that. So we end up having to lose and then remember, and then lose and then remember. You've got like the Cathars and all these other crazy sects that end up just simply trying to survive this enlightenment period that we have. So typically when the enlightenment comes, it kind of burns away the people kind of like you and I that are just talking about what was happening in 2019 versus what the actual story is, right? About the flu and things like that. You're just seeing it happen now. Getting off track, I wanna just give a vote to Annie to say that there's some real powerful magic, I think, in this. The ability to broadcast a symbol like that to where it can be seen and interpreted. And probably what the new capital of the new world order is doing it too. And I just think that's kind of cool that they're participating in the same thing. Thanks.
Oh, I have a quick question before we call on Lauren. Annie, how big was that in your yard to be seen that big when you showed a image? If you were on group, little, I call it Hollywood Squares. If you got to see Annie, she held up that map. So how big?
Oops, there's the airplane. um, it's hard to say how big this is from the ground. Can you see that at all?
Center it a little bit more. Yeah.
It's big. It's not.
Well, how many
the map or yeah.
How many feet wide is it?
Good question. I never measured it. I don't know.
If you lied
30,
on the ground, would you
maybe
fit
30
in it?
feet? It's not that big. Yeah.
30 feet. Okay.
Something like that. This is how it should look though. This is what it's going to look like, more like a letter A, and it's going to be pointing towards the east so that it's pointed in the correct direction and it doesn't bring me whatever bad things. And I take her word for it. So, I mean, actually, after I made it, they came along with a bulldozer and they tore down a bunch of bushes on my property, and there was a bunch of dust in the air, and so that was like earth and air together in a bad way, and everything seemed chaotic, and it was really upset me because they probably destroyed birds' nests and possibly iguana homes or you name it. Up on the hill, there's bird nests on the hill on the surface of like these really weird birds called lesser nighthawks, and they do this weird at sunset, and they fly around, and it's crazy. But I was worried about them too. There's just so much wildlife here. It's insane. And I want to protect it and I don't want to bring any kind of havoc to the world, but I mean, I thought it's really cool that you can make something to be seen on Google Earth. And that's,
That's awesome, Annie. Thank you.
thanks.
Lauren, you're up. Good to see you.
Hi there, good to see you too. I wanted to point out that today is actually 777, if anybody's interested in that. I mean, that doesn't happen very often, so I thought that was interesting. And James, your last live, Shakracon sounds like a very fun festival. I would go. I'd probably get VIP tickets. Sounds amazing. Um, and how you discussed AI understanding you when others couldn't, and instilling and training it to understand what's consensually accurate or the truth. So I think we need to look at AI as a tool. I mean, because and those who take the time to teach and to customize, that work and that effort is going to pay off because it's going to enhance you. It's going to enhance your experience. So it's customizable in a way. And you wrote the song years ago and had always had the dream that you'd be able to come up with and hire a Gregorian calendar and sing it and then enter AI to help you manifest this. It reminded me of the exclusivity of the pharmaceutical industry when they come up with a new drug. Well, the manufacturer gets the exclusive right to that and all of the profits and everything for a certain period of time. Once that period of time is up, it's more inclusive. Other companies who have the desire and effort and who have the ability are able to manufacture that as well. So it just seems like, well, there's also this concept of being on the level that the Masons use, where it doesn't matter what background you have or where you come from, everybody gets treated the same. And it seems like that's manifesting on the earth right now. And it's a joy to see. It's a little bit hard to see it, but we're making out the faint images of it. But yeah, those who embrace the fact that things are tools and are not scared by it, you're going to have a better experience. Oh yeah, also I get to leave for Arizona this Friday. I got invited to go stay with a friend. I've never been out west. So it's got to be some sort of spiritual significance, I think, that I'd be invited now at this period of my life, and I'm pretty excited about it. So then that's all I really had to share.
Thanks, Lauren. I also thought that Chakracon was so clever. Yeah, I thought that live was amazing. And to think about the dreams coming true for it doesn't have to be a superstar, and you don't have to be this. Only 1% of the population gets to have their dream. We all get to have that dream, and I'm going to say that if the old internet is dead, the new internet is alive, and that is each of us as divine channels. So go ahead, True.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I can't say enough about the Shakracon video session for a couple of reasons. First of all, when you were talking about Disney, James, I was thinking about it's pretty well known open secret in Hollywood. Everybody follows the manual is Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, but it's cloistered away like it's some kind of sacred text, but it's not. It's everybody's journey, and everybody's got access to it, and all we need is some help bringing that to life. And I think you really inspired me looking at AI in a new way. Let's see. I also got inspired I sent James an email. I got all fired up. Hey, when we do this, can I be a presenter? Because I've been studying energy work for 30 years and picked up a few things along the way. And then I'm asking for forgiveness, not for permission here, James. So James fired back said, hey, what if we could do something on Dojo Earth? And I came up with kind of something that would be fun for everybody to explore their own energy using music and sound and the power of the voice, and tie in with a couple of things that James has been talking about, like the PAG. How can you talk to can so the question that came up to me was, can I put my inner reptile on its back and rub its belly and make it go to sleep? And it turns out that it's interesting. I've had a couple of experiences where I've been able to do that in real time. It's like jump that 500 millisecond gap and talk to it directly and go, mm, mm. It's really cool. So I don't know if anybody's open to that idea of doing something on Dojo Earth. I'm open to suggest if you've got anything you want to throw into it, and James is open to it. I'd be happy to like produce it or whatever, moderate it.
Oh, true.
Good stuff, Drew. Yeah, sorry I haven't written you back yet. I've just been in learning funness of all that.
Yeah, sounds like it.
One of the things I was trying was looking at Brad's face a lot. I've been running the Zoom video. In fact, I forgot to turn it on gallery view. Sorry, you don't need to hear that, but feeding the Brad's face into the AI and trying to get it to turn him into a Muppet. It's the Muppet part's hard. I can turn Brad into any other kind of humanoid, but the Muppet part is nearly impossible. It's fascinating. So I'm still on an exploratory journey. This is it's just an Arduino. It's a microcontroller. They're about $16 on the web. And this is an MPU 6050. It's I've had these things for a long time. I've always found robotics to be fascinating. And what this is a prototype. This is supposed to be glued. It's just not glued right now. But this has a gyro in it that tells you if it moves on an axis like this, or this. So X, Y, and Z axes are tracked via this thing. This thing is plugged into, actually, it's not plugged in right now, but it would be plugged into a 3D program. And then you would have the ability to switch cameras into a puppet. The puppet would be reading my face, and then I would use this to actually like move the puppet. So if I rotate this, then the puppet would turn. But then if I talk with my lips, he would say something. And I've managed to do all this. What I'm struggling with, I've lost a lot of time with, honestly. For some reason, I'm having trouble with this. Is there's a free app that any of you could download. It's called Live Link Face. It's for Unreal Engine. You don't need to know any of that. I'm just telling you. And that you'd be able to, we could be in Zoom. We could have a script together in front of us. And if you had your mobile phone in front of you, your mobile phone would be recording your pheromones, your facial features. And those facial features, if I could solve this, you could then mail to me. And then because you mailed to me, I could then combine them into a world, and we would have our fucking puppet show. It'd be pretty cool. And then if I could turn that into puppets instead of just human figures, that's the other big learning curve is having trouble doing that. And I don't know if any of this is important because, quite frankly, I think that when we add video to this concept, it gets a lot more expensive, a lot more time consuming, and just sucks a lot more calories out. If I would have been doing a radio spot for Battle of the Kegs, I think that you guys would have heard that on Saturday Night Ride. I think that on this Saturday, I wanted to go so bad. I was so fucking tired. My brain was killing me because I could not get uh, a video card bridge plugin, like just the most, oh my God, are you serious? This is what you're doing? It's like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So it's like, there's no show on Saturday, even though I'd rather be writing. I'd rather be in the creative seat, writing stories about the Battle of the Kegs, for example. And I could see in my mind an audio script that we record over Zoom, and that audio script is added into a radio bit that's edited down, finely tuned with audio sound effects, just like Prairie Home Companion, just like any old time radio show that you would ever hear. And it would be a polished, finished thing. So each sketch, you wouldn't have to produce a show. We would only have to produce a sketch. And the sketch would be played in a block, just like the Muppet Show runs. So it's like, Kermit has the show, and then if acts are ready and Zeke and his Boomerang Fish act, it's not ready, right? He's still working on that. And Gonzo's, pushing the bounds of censorship with the chickens, so he's not ready yet. And that all these things are really just opportunities for to be creative about a very specific genre that you can forget about later. The Battle of the Kegs would be a beautiful little sketch that we could do and then forget, and then there it is. It's kind of like the Gregorian chant, the video that I did of that. It's an audio, but I needed to have video on it just so I could share it with you. Otherwise, I'd be telling you, and I don't know how to answer these questions. People are like, how do I find your podcast on? And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know how it works either. I just go to my podcast app and just, I don't know if you don't know. So it's, the video is almost kind of a pain in the ass. It's almost kind of like this extra thing that I have to do that honestly, if I didn't have to do, I would have had a show on Saturday. I'm not saying this is the way to go. I think that my learning curve is, I've probably put 60 hours into something I haven't even been able to show you yet. Just with this and with all the other stuff, and but I'm not done, because this thing could be a video game outside of an airship. This screen back here, and that airship could be moving through a 3D environment that's interactive based on the slideshows we have, or other stories or other bits or things like that. So I'm all for, let's produce something. Like, that's all I do. It's just more about what's the smartest thing to do? What's the thing that, how do I not, how do I gain just like 2 subscribers in a month? Because right now I'm lucky if I gain one, like an entire month. I'm lucky if I'll get one. And I don't know if it's sustainable. Um, Lost a lot of budget because of the book writing. I'm not doing a show today. I should have done a show today, right? So it's like me putting more time into this isn't necessarily really helping, which is why you're just hearing a lot of craziness from me, where I'm just like, now I'm doing this, now I'm doing that. I'm sort of in this. By the way, I'm having a fucking blast. I'm not saying it's responsible, but like I can't. I'm so excited. I get up. I'm just like, I have to solve this more. I'm tired as fuck right now. This is the only day where, because we had these appointments today, I didn't get up and I didn't get to feel my uh, addiction. I was more like, dude, you gotta chill. You gotta frickin', you need to probably clean yourself. Let's scrub some pits. Let's do some things. Let's mail books. People have ordered books. James, you gotta, do your job and stuff like that. So it's like today, it's like really caught up with me how hard I've been working. I haven't felt it at all. I've just been like, I must solve the equation, and it's it's so exciting. I'm so excited right now. I don't know if it's the right call. I don't know what we should be doing. True, I can't write you back. I'm fucking trying to solve the moon landing right here, and not like actually land it, not like make a story up about it. It's like there's just a lot. So it's like I'm excited about what everyone can do. One of the reasons why I didn't do a show today is I thought, why don't I try and just do my show inside the airship? How would that even feel to people? Because right now we're sort of recording a radio spot, is what we're doing. Yeah, we have video, but we're sort of recording a radio spot. And so I'm everywhere, guys. I'm all over the place.
Well, can I ask you a question?
Of course you can.
Because
Wait, you already did. Sorry. Next
oh,
question.
another question. if I just sent you a couple of songs, and there's no screenshots necessary, no video, just do this all by the power of voice in the song, and just kind of do a guided visualization. I mean, would you be willing to just like punch a button and press a song? I could be responsible for the rest of it, and anybody else that wanted to participate in the production.
Um, I don't understand what the question is, because
Okay.
I think if you're going to produce something, I think you should produce something for sure.
Okay.
And I would love to see that. And if you want to, it's weird, true, that you're writing asking, because I think you're asking, can I bring up a topic at Dojo? And I'm sort of like, why are we asking this? Because it makes me feel I haven't explained how this all works. I would want you to be bringing this up. I would want this to be a part of it. Hypothetically, you're asking me, and I want to encourage you, but also I think you need to be the one that's like, I want to fucking do this. I want
I
to,
do.
that's where the oomph should be. And then that
Yeah.
oomph should be, whatever it is. There's YouTube, there's all kinds of stuff like that. There's definitely the radio. We definitely have the spot. We could produce things on Dojo Worth Radio. I cannot tell you right now ahead of time, hypothetically, if you send something, will I publish it to Dojo Worth? Because I don't know. I just don't know. I need to see it. We need to talk
Yeah.
about it. We need to engage.
Fair enough.
So
yeah, and no, I just wanted to emphasize that the reason that we had this conversation was because your name is on the shingle. That's all. It's your shop.
okay. So I feel like James True Live is that pretty clearly. I thought that we had something different here, and I'm sorry. I've misunderstood. I'm under the impression that Airship and Dojo is a more of a collective thing, and I just want to find a way to encourage that more. You guys don't need to write me an email asking if you can bring something up in Dojo. We've never had that rule. I don't want to start that rule. I don't want to encourage the rumor. I don't want to set up a false paradigm where it's like, if you encourage me first, I will do this, because that's going to bite me in the ass. We can
Yeah.
explain why if you want energetically. I can go into that, but I will end up gaslighting you more than my acquired 1 to 4%, which I already say I will do. I think
All
I'd
right.
be gaslighting you more like 15. I want to see this for sure. We have a radio network that we put the time in to create a channel that does have its own separate arm, so that it's not affecting what I do, but more importantly, I'm not affecting what it does. And I want to do I would love to do community radio. I'd love to do I think we're already doing it, honestly. So I'm not even going to say I would love it. It'd be great if it would be more uh, viable as a vehicle, mainly because I just think it'd be fun. I think you guys are cool as fuck. I think it'd be cool as fuck if we were doing more and producing more and stuff. So yeah, I'm actively working on that. Um, I
Thank you. Message received.
Good, good, because I want to encourage you, and I also want to be authentic with where this is going. I don't know how it works. If I did, I wouldn't be telling you, "Hey, I'm trying this new thing." I'd just be doing it. Saturday we'd have Saturday Night Ride. I really felt like that was the right call. That Saturday I would have a show about that. But also, I think it's the right call to put some time in. I still have this software package that I haven't shown you guys yet. That if I just could just finish that too, it's sort of in my mind. I've been like, all these are kind of related. The Puppeteers is kind of related to that, because there is this grand unification thing I have that was sort of like a production tool that would allow me to produce and tell stories easier, because I have endless stories. I don't wake up like, I wish I had a story. I wake up like, how do I make this story visually work? That's the struggle that I have. Is more that, and it's more just about time. It's really just, there's just only so much time, and I wish I was faster at this. The AI one day will have this. It'll be able to do that. The video I have right now is really rough for Battle of the Kegs, but it's pretty impressive. There's explosions, there's lip syncing. If I keep going, I wanted to do this Rockettes style British soldiers doing this little kick thing along with it, but I don't think I'll get to that. I still haven't shown you guys. I have a movie of a bunch of people in scrubs doing this pharmaceutical dance, which would blow your socks off. I did it like 2 years ago, And it was one of those things where I think something on my computer crashed or something. And this is like, there's the PC that does all this fancy 3D stuff. Then there's my Mac, and I sort of have to switch heads and go into PC world to make certain 3D things work. And if something breaks on that, I tend to get just so overwhelmed that I just stop using it for like a year and a half. And so that's where that song is. Somewhere a year and a half ago, I spent probably 50 hours on a video I've never shown anybody, mainly because I'm trying to get the technique down to where I can just crank this stuff out, where you can just, what's the equation? What's the say? Here's how we say it quickly. And again, I'm not trying to talk us into this, but if radio was more viable, I think it might be more achievable for us as a group of, I mean this endearingly, of amateurs that really want to produce something really well. It just makes it so much easier because all you're doing is worrying about this and just this. This is all I'm worried about. And so now the uhs and the thumbs and the space between and all the other wasted words, you get to really focus on that and really come down to the idea of this is the sound of my voice, and it's just a funner way of doing it. So I don't know what's right. I don't know what the right thing is, but these are just the things that have been going on.
I like to say that I'm professionally unprofessional, just, but not the other way around. Because, to me that seems more positive. Like if you said it the other way around, it's kind of like the negative of it where, I'm unprofessionally professional. Like I don't know, I don't like that as much, but I was going to have it as a slogan once, as a joke, because I was, under attack from some musical instrument luthiers that were trying to start rumors about me. So I just was going to embrace it and just say professionally unprofessional since 19 whatever. But anyway, hey, I thought that was interesting about the phoenix. And I always, like, I made these two land ship like hugels in my yard, but they're kind of like wings of a bird. And then I created this serpentine trail that goes between them. And I always think of that, and it's like, and it's covered with grass, because I remember that from that, when I noticed that about that in Astana, in the Kazakhstan. And I'm just like, wow, that's kind of an interesting thing. So I kind of compared it to it. And then there was this weird synchronicity. Like last night, I had misunderstood it all these years, but it was explained to me when that this girl started something called a Jolene party, from here in Nebraska. And I think it like spread around to other places, and then she redid it. It's just a thing where you sing that Dolly Parton song, Jolene, and everybody does their own version. But apparently she started it, and it was some type of and it started at this social hall. They had a redo of it last night, and the theme was Phoenix. Just, just thought I'd mention that. But, and then with the 777, that's kind of like that vortex kind of a thing. And then I also wanted to mention about the river. You were talking about the virus in the river, but the root of like the river, the way I've thought of it is also like reeve, like reeving. And, there's like weird effects with reeving is like just generally like, I think a nautical term, or, pulling a rope through a hole or something like that. But more specifically, it's like a corkscrew action. And, like you can take a corkscrew and it'll go upstream through a reeving action. So it's like, I also thought it might be related to reeving because it happens in rivers, and it's also kind of related to, like the hypodermic needle and reeving, and, some of its meanings, just thought I'd add that little thing there. Anyway, I'll continue on.
Thanks, Pi. That's like the Bernoulli equation, how the fluids work. So I did want to say I have a puppet show that I made all with by hand, and I tried to make a whole script And I just tried to perform it, and it was the hardest thing to make the puppet talk. I'm going to say it was like, I just put it back in the suitcase. It's like, so anyhow, we got Yesenia's hand up.
I agree, by the way. We
Yeah.
could go a lot about puppets, but and it's a very big animism exercise, Lori, as I'm sure you know, but it is,
Yeah.
you really have to become the child again. And personally, I'm maybe making this up, Yesenia, hope you can wait just a sec, but I would like for you to consider that um, this guy is first of all, he's great. Okay, so please don't hear me wrong. Okay, he's a good boy. He's a really good boy. But this is most of the puppets that you get online are like this. They're more for children, and they don't really have a lot of action. I could be lying, Lori, but I'm truly believing that because I cannot close his mouth properly, it doesn't have a snap to it. You have to push and then kind of roll your fingers out, and then it looks like he's doing something, and all I'm trying to do is get him to close his mouth. Yeah, I'm just trying to work it, you know. But this is truly animism. And I think having the right puppet is really important. I really do. And I looked online, they're like fucking $800. I'm just like, are you nuts? Are you kidding? So if I have time, I want, because I have the 3D printers here, I want to make that mechanism, Lori. A good
Yeah.
mouth mechanism is probably a good, maybe I could even find a model that's already 3D printable. Then it's just a matter of having that on my hands and then building the fabric outer shell, you know, around it to give that an idea. And then there's the idea of the eyes itself. However, if this if this live link works, I actually think that we're looking at a different kind of puppet because I like the idea of the live link just looking at my face because that way I can look at the screen and focus on the script and all I really have to do is animate the puppet with my movements itself. So the live link will read my jaw open and I can transmit that into either the voice or even like an automated puppet too. So
I
it's
think it's so exciting, James, really, because it's like a new format. I have a friend who's married to a ventriloquist, and so I understand the mechanisms of making a ventriloquist dummy. And so she know how to make. She made all the puppets for the famous ventriloquist. And so, I'm like, in the idea of animating, it's much easier if you become it like an actor than you trying to do this with it. It's like I went to Prague to even learn how to make a marionette. So I'm really into the puppeting. So sorry we're keeping you waiting there, Yesenia. You had your hands so politely raised. So yeah, go ahead.
I I, I enjoyed the conversation and AI, for instance, the have you subscribed to yourself, like having AI make my face instead of Uncle Sam's. Because the second I heard Shakracon, I was like, hey chat, can you make a poster of Uncle Sam pointing at you and have it say, have you subscribed to yourself? And then I go to work and I show my boss, and my boss is like, all right, cool. Can you make it with your face though? And I was like, okay. So then I take a picture of myself and show it to chat, and it was impressive, but it wasn't right. And then I had to then feed Chat GPT like 30 pictures of me and to create what you guys saw. Like like no he and then I had to like show it different angles too so I could get different angles of me. But yeah, getting to know Chat GPT is getting to know yourself, and just watching how chat already knows what I think. Like if you ever go to your Chat GPT, there's like already like 5 suggestions based on an algorithm. It's very interesting. Like chat knows I want to discuss Masonic symbolism in everyday life, like stuff like that. I'm like, why? But it's very alluring. And it's funny that you bring up the whole don't bring stuff up of dojo, because I wanted to talk about energetic cannibalism. And when you asked me to bring it up in dojo, I felt naked. I was like, I can't bring this up. Like now I feel too seen. And I'm trying to create a part 3 for energetic cannibalism, but I also feel like I should break up with the idea, which I wanted to lead up to the question, like, when you wrote Technology of Belief and A Tale of Six Dragons, and how do you keep that relevant in your heart as an artist? Like, how do you keep old artwork, like, how do you stay connected to that art?
I don't think you can, honestly. I mean this endearing, but I think it's how I feel about the Battle of Kegs right now. I get the feeling you guys are never going to see this video. It's okay. Yesenia, I've got thousands of those things. My draft folder in Substack, it's fucking huge. And there's some really good stuff in there. Really good stuff. And in the middle of writing it, sometimes I get sad because I'm like, what's wrong, James? And I'm like, I know no one's ever going to see this. And I only know that because of the weather outside. There's just a timing, right? You know what I mean? There's just a timing of things, or someone's coming over, or this is going to happen, or that's about to go down. And, or you hear something and you just get the sense of, okay, oh, that's over. I guess we're not going to see you. And you kiss your kids goodbye. This is what I think you should do, by the way. This is not what I used to think. When I was your age, I never thought this. I'm not even saying it's right. Right now, my technique, Yesenia, is I have to kiss it goodbye. I'm not making art to produce it. I'm making art to find the flow state that I have there. If the macaroni drawing never makes it onto anyone's refrigerator, that's okay. If I keep wanting it to, I'm going to ruin myself as an artist. So you have to embrace all those things that I know you're not going to see. And even realize that the worst thing that you could do is tell me that my stuff's better than I would tell myself. It would start to make me create it for you. And I think ultimately this is the trick, the beautiful way nature works, that nature finds those who have lower self-worth, and it offers a seed where we tell someone who has lower self-worth, if you were to dance, I would be more impressed with you than you are impressed with yourself. And that you would suddenly start to dance, and that this is actually good. You could call it slavery, you could call it time mind control, but you also could call it, hey, you fucking got that person to dance who wasn't dancing yet. And now we're hoping they will come back, step away from the gaslight, come back to the center and say, I'm not dancing because of them. I'm doing it because of me. None of us know this. Isn't this the message of subscribe to yourself? Of course it is, right? If you think about radio, if you think about I want to contribute, I want to do something like this, like true, just to pick you because you happen to say it last. I get people who say this all the time. They write me personally, and I'm offended because I'm like, what part of Dojo do you not fucking understand? Like, why are we doing this? Like, I have built this thing, but I want you to know that the courage, the reaction you get from me, it's all part of the art. It's all part of your creative side of what you're going to do. Ultimately, if we were to be producing a radio show, the same thing if we were to be producing a Muppet show, I think you'd be looking at how can I say this little nugget in 3 minutes? How can I do a 3 minute spot just on this? And if it's talking to reptiles and you're into that and you think you've got 30 minutes of material, then actually I think what you mean is you've got 10 different 3 minute spots. Focus on small platable tapas. Focus on Yesenia, focus your writing on palatable things that will not go unseen. When you're budding as an artist, if you find that your stuff's not making it out the door, it will crush you until you learn to have the belief that I have, which is that I'm not making this to, I mean, I have to produce it, but it's okay. I've lost enough art pieces now to where I'm better at this. Ultimately, though, I'd rather you be finding that not to point out Cameron. Cameron sort of has a goal of like every Saturday, I want to produce something on Substack. This is the perfect engine I think you want. Find the engine where you're requiring something of yourself that's feasible, doable, doesn't overwork you, doesn't overkill you, and that you can afford to be embarrassed about if you produce something. You want to be embarrassed about it. That's just my opinion. You want to feel maybe not embarrassed, but you want to look at your last piece and go, I can't wait to do that again. I can't wait, not that again, but I can't wait to maybe come back around and have that again because next time, blah, 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 or blah, 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 or blah, blah, blah. This ultimately is the artist. This really is the artist. Nothing you produce is it. It's this flow state you're in where you get up and you're just like, fuck, I have to do this. I have to do this. I got to solve this plugin, and no one's going to need that, and no one's ever going to see that. But I need it because I want to try this one little thing. I have to try this one little thing. I have to see what this works, right? And you're going to find yourself, I think, in if you're lucky, you'll be catnapping. You'll sleep for 15 minutes, then you're up and you're doing stuff. And you have a problem. You've got an addiction, just like I do. Welcome to my world. But also, this is a good fix. We can live under this bridge. We can build hobo fires. We can live our entire life this way because ultimately it's sustainable. Ultimately, this is, I think, is probably the best use of our creativity versus let's go out and kill people and gather their food and steal their families so we can have more. That's one thing, but here's another thing to do, right? And it looks totally different. So that's all I got. Thanks.
Thanks, James. I just wanted to do a little time check. We're like 20 minutes out, and if anyone hasn't raised their hand and wants to talk, put their camera on, whatever there's a little reactions button at the bottom of the Zoom. Just raise your hand. Love to hear from you, see you, and have you impart us with your voice. Because now, like this voice, mixing the voices together, I was thinking how divine each person's unique voice is. So go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, I don't see any other hands up, so I'm just going to jump back in here. James, and I want everybody to know that just being a part of Dojo has really increased my confidence in the skills that I already have. I mentioned a couple weeks ago I had a potential client, did an initial consultation, presented the concept, quoted a price, and it was rejected on price alone. I did not realize this person had another partner in the background, which happens a lot with creative work. I found, especially in interior design, you've got different partners with different value systems. Let's just say they're just different. And there were two gifts. First of all, she offered 3 times what my initial consultation fee was for the work that I did on the colors and the website layout. 3 times. She offered that to me. But the biggest gift was, damn, I got excited. I know what I'm doing. It's just going through the process. I'm not even disappointed I didn't get the main bid. So, I'm like underwriting myself with the energy. I'm underwriting my subscription with the energy of my my placebo. So that's all I got.
That's great stuff. True. I think that's exactly how to do it. If you should have fun giving a quote. You should have fun building a quote. You should have fun doing all that stuff, every single bit of it. Even if it's, I caught myself the other day honestly in this. It was late last night. I was just to be really honest, not that this is like a big deal, but I'm just like, James, you gotta post Zoom. No one knows it, and you haven't even told Lori, James, you gotta fucking do it. And I sit down, I'm just like, I gotta post Zoom. And as I'm posting Zoom, I notice that I'm frustrated because every time I scroll down to go to 12:30, I end up scrolling through PM, and then you get to the end of the list, and then it's like you get to 12, and then you got to go all the way back up, and it's a repeating thing. You'd think I'd have this solved, but I don't. And it's more about I was noticing why I was frustrated with it. And I was like, James, if you're not enjoying the Zoom part of this is like the easiest thing. Like like out of all the things that you need to do, this is the easiest. Why would you not enjoy this? And it was a really beautiful moment with myself where actually my voice said, you should train AI to fucking fill out the form. And I was like, that sounds like fun, but you're still missing the point, James. You're still missing the point that the tediousness, you were the one making this tedious. You are. You're doing that. That's how powerful you are. That's why you're calling it tedious. You're wrapping up your other frustrations with other things. I think it's more about I feel like a failure if I'm not producing art, which is why when I get in these research things, I get really grumpy and really focused and really demanding and really let's solve this. And I want to fucking be able to run this plasma cutter by Monday because if I cannot cut a piece of metal with this thing, I'm going to feel like a failure. And I didn't finish. I really wanted to finish this thing. I mean, it looks amazing what's here. I was working this morning. I was just like, he's not going to get it done. I knew the whole time you're not going to get it done, but I'm still doing it anyway. This is what you want. This is where you want to be. Be there, but then be gentler with yourself. There's no reason to be as intense as I am. I'm just like this rabid sort of creature when I get into my creative mode. And it's not really the smartest thing, you know. It's my intensity. And I turn other people off. I probably turn myself off. I don't notice. But also, I'll be really straight with you, Drew. I want to feel that. I want to feel alive and intense. I'm gonna have an intense thing around me. I'm gonna be like this sometimes. And people are like, why are you doing that face? You live in Asheville. You're supposed to not care. And I'm just like, I care. I care. I have this intense thing that I want to solve. And when I go out on the walk, I'm carrying that because my favorite reaction, the feeling that I have, if you were to add up all the feelings that you've ever had, what is your favorite? Many people might think that it's just happiness. It's something like joy or something like that. Mine's not. I admit this about myself. My greatest excitement is the moment before I get to share something with someone. I have an idea in my head. I'm waiting for the for you're you're not gonna fucking believe this. That is the most alive that I've been able to measure and feel. That is not a good feeling, is it? I'm describing a sense of don't move. No, this is not a sustainable feeling, right? But it's fucking lit. I mean, oh, I'm fucking there. You know what I mean? So it's even if you find that your art, that this is why it's helpful to create when you can keep your assemblage inside yourself, when you're not watching other people watch you, because you really want to convolve and be able to have that angst and have no one take it personally. Does this make sense? You could say you have to dismiss the angst, and I'm not saying I'm right, guys. I'm not as a very success. I'm a successful artist, but I'm not a very successful artist. So I don't think that I have the right formula yet. But I want angst in here. I really want that to be the cloud sometimes in the room of that frustration because I can't solve this, or once I do, things like that. Because the good moods are, oh, they're so much more authentic, so much
I,
more authentic that way.
I can really relate to what you're saying because I've had things that I've been working on, like essays or whatever, and I've crashed my computer. It's like the electrical charge coming through my fingers. It's crazy.
I got one more quick thing to say, really quick. I Shakracon is a joke. Like that was trying to be funny. I would love to do a Shakracon. If you guys want to do a Shakracon, let's do a Shakracon. If you want to start out small, just throwing this out, I think we could do a Parthenon Shakracon. I think we could meet at in Nashville, see the Parthenon, hang out in the gardens. That way we don't actually have to rent anything. Do you know what I mean? We just kind of have to go there. So that's just a thought. We don't have to discuss it now, but this is the kind of creativity that I would want to inspire. That if some of us are into the radio shows, some of us are writing. Hey, I'm writing a 3 minute bit for the radio. Right, every week I'm going to do this little report on what's happening in the news for the radio because I think this would be a good spot. Or I'm planning Shakracon, or I'm producing this, or I'm writing my own stuff. You guys don't even have to do it with me. I'm just saying that if you were looking for something like that, I love freaking creating stuff. So that's all I got.
Well, thanks, James. We got two hands up. Go ahead, Yesenia, you're on. Up, up, up.
I just wanted to add to that, like, there's nothing like pressing post on Substack. I'm the highest person in the world when like I'm just anticipating that witness. And I also feel that feeling of like, okay, in the last 3 months I've been creating, I have X amount of subscribers. Now how do I get more? But I also feel like that's a part of my own addiction with my self-esteem. Like I have to work on that. Like if I just get into the flow state, it doesn't matter who's watching. Thank you.
It's both, I think. Like I really do think it's both. And I don't want to put you in a psychopathic corner where you think I'm gonna have to have that. It's like win to me, Yesenia. It's just something to add that I wanted to keep in mind. Thank you.
Yeah, that was the part of that thing about having a show and having all eyes on you. It's like it makes you feel uncomfortable, but that's really what is a certain level of like leveling up. Can you just stand there with your work and not say anything? I mean, it's just like it's like amazing to get the witness, but then it's amazing just to be the witness to yourself. Like so you're your own subscriber, so getting it out there is really important. And then there is a little high when someone else understands or gets what you do. So it's like James, before I started moderating, I was kind of a little bit asphyxiating from my creativity. I'm really extremely creative, and there's not a lot of witness for it. So I really appreciate y'all letting me be the moderator here. So Deb, go ahead. Have your hand up. Go ahead.
I love having you for the moderator. I just wanted to be a little angsty for you. I'm feeling really old because of how much science I have missed since high school. It's been a long fucking time. So anyways, every time I find something out that's really cool, my partner is also the same age as me, and I tell him, and he says, "That's not true." It drives me fucking crazy. And then I have to tell him, "Google it, Jimmy. Just Google it." Anyway, his name is Jimmy. So anyway, it really is irritating to. Jim's really enlightened, but sometimes the new stuff, he's like, I'm finding him a little curmudgeonly. But I just spent also a week with my sister, my younger sister, and her husband, who are great people, California people, and very open to a lot of things, but not to new ideas around energy. And trying to tell my sister something about what the military was doing, and before I even got halfway there, that's not true. Yes, it is. Look it up. FOIA is on such and such a page. It. I'm. It drives me crazy. Is that so? Just a little angst for you.
Yeah, they're showing you how viable your words are, and they're showing you how little calories they have to rethink or revisit something. I felt this way about flat Earth when that first hit me.
Yeah.
Annoyed and pissed off because of just how expensive it was going to be to even consider that, and I was insulted by it, and I didn't have room for it. I just remember that feeling. I remember feeling so many weird feelings about it that is actually what challenged me, is I noticed how hard it was to even consider those things. And I just don't think a lot of us are aware of how much emotional baggage it is to do a 9 degree or to pivot from something. It's a loss of momentum, and a lot of people they can't afford that. So we're just watching that happen now.
Yeah.
And as I hold like posture and I'm not leaking calories out my back, I don't really I really hold counsel to self when I really can feel the room if I'm going to lose calories by what I say. And it's much more joy filled. My life is much more joy filled. It's like I found that all the people that I thought were like, the progressive thinkers, something happened in 2020, and they're not so progressive. So it's kind of, so then, you have this expectation or or even like, I don't know, a place to be acknowledged. You think it's there, but it's really not there. And that what I found, not losing calories by not putting my pearls down. I can always pick them back and put them in my pocket and shine them up again, but I don't put my pearls there anymore. It's been a while since I've done that, and I feel myself a little bit different, So
I feel a little sad about it too, because my sister's an artist. She's an art quilter, and she's incredible. You guys would see her stuff and be awed. She's an amazing artist, but she doesn't do new ideas. I'm trying to tell her about crop circles, and she's like, "That's not real." Jesus. So
all these like crazy advanced mathematical things that end up in somebody's field. How the hell did that happen? There's a lot of strange stuff that happens. So I was trying to explain to her the whose idea is it? I think Jacques Vallée that weird high strangeness is somehow connected, it's somehow part of the Earth's control mechanism. And I haven't read enough to be able to explain it, but it's pretty interesting.
Well, thanks, Deb. I just went through a major gate of, when you give birth to somebody and they don't understand anything you say. I was like, so I really understand that. I'm really feeling into what that feels like. It hurts, yeah. So I'm feeling into that for you.
Thank you.
Not anything I haven't witnessed in a very short time ago. I alchemized it. Hey, Sarah, your hand's up and then pie's up, and we have like 5 minutes. So let's see if we can't share and see if we can get it all out.
Saying hi. So let's see. Puppets. That reminded me of the first I went to this, I think I'd mentioned earlier, this like crappy state college right out of high school that I hated in the art department. Really sucked compared to my high school one. But I took this puppet making class and I made a wizard puppet. And I don't remember like we had to put on some kind of show at the end and stuff. I don't remember any of that, but it was fun to remember that. And then when you're talking about like witness of art, I had this yesterday morning, this old boyfriend from when I was like in my early 20s contacted me because he was inspired by this mail artist. I used to do mail art. My grandfather did mail art. I have his pieces like this. He would do these paintings and cut them up. And so this was mailed to me. This had the address. This is probably in like 19, I don't know. Stamps were like, I don't know, probably like 80, early 80s. So he did mail art. I did mail art. And he was thinking of using a postcard that he had of me with some writing on the back in a mail art project that he wanted to do. Painting using those images. And then he decided not to. But it was interesting hearing from him because he's a painter. He's a good painter. I remember that much about him. And I felt like I wanted to share a lot of my artwork with him for witness. So I was going through my files and condensing some of them and sent him a bunch of stuff. And while I was going through all my files of paintings and doodles that I do in a little sketchbook that he says are beyond doodles, which they are. They feel like sketches for larger pieces. And some old drawings and all of these things. And I start to feel appreciation for the amount of creativity I've always expressed in my life, even though I have never had like big recognition or financial success in any of them. But I've been really creative in everything now, like whether food or jewelry or making funny memes with whatever, like there's been a lot of creativity and I do reach like pinnacles of extreme frustration because of not having this way. I'd heard somebody describe like creative input moves like this and being able to promote yourself moves like this. So I have a lot of this and none of this movement. So that's frustrating. But and then he'd also saw these doodles as larger works, but this is my space, one room. I have like one work table that has my sewing stuff on it. And if I want to paint, I move all that away. And then to work larger, it's the resources and the space. Like art materials, the last time I went to get a few paints, like, or just some mediums, like, whoa, these have really gone up in price a lot. Almost as much as cocoa butter. I like to make my own chocolates, but cocoa butter, since the last time I bought 3 pounds for $32, that's now $72. Like, I guess I'm not making chocolate anymore for that price. And yes, I know you have 5 minutes, so I'll keep it to that today. Bye.
All right, everybody, unmute and say goodbye. Let's
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Great Jojo.
2, 1.